Hello and welcome back to us talking about movies. We're barely functioning in name and in real life.
I That's a good joke, actually. I like that.
I'm Jacob,
I'm Will,
and let's talk Kenobi.
because it was the finale this week,
It was the finale.
and what a finale it was. Depending on your personal preference to this,
Yeah,
it was a show. I can say that with all confidence. It was a show.
it was a show.
It happened. It's done, and I don't know. It didn't really feel all too necessary.
All right. Just like last time.
We're starting with the recap, and then we'll go with our final thoughts. Oh no!
What'd you give it on
What did I
a
give it?
1 to 10 scale?
Okay, just on this episode alone,
Yeah, just episode 6. The
I would
finale.
say, I would give it a 7. I would give it an 8 for just because of Kenobi and Vader. I'd give it an 8, but I
I'm
think,
giving it an 8 too.
yeah,
I think 5 and 6 were pretty strong, solid episodes.
they felt, yeah,
Like if you look at them on their own, they're solid.
yes. Well, I agree. Just it's strange because the first thing I did was look at the timestamp of this.
Oh, what
thing.
do we say last?
I said 42, and I think you said 50.
I said close to 50.
Yeah, and you were right because it was 51, I believe.
Yeah, but I looked at it. 2 minutes was the recap and the intro, and then what?
6
minutes
minutes
for credits,
Which
so
makes it 43, and I guessed 42. So I'm going to count that as a W in my
that is
book.
pretty close. Yeah.
Hey, it's not a W. I was wrong.
I was very excited because I saw the 51 minutes. I was like, well, there were rumors the entire week before, like, we think it's going to be an hour and a half. I was like, that would be awesome. I don't know what they're going to do, but that would be awesome, I think. But then it was 51 minutes. I was like, that's at least it wasn't like 35.
No, yeah, exactly. When I saw it was 50 minutes, I'm like, well, let's strap in and get it, boys. This is going to be good.
Yeah.
Like, I was hyped actually seeing it was 51 minutes. But then the episode started, and then...
I mean, it wasn't a bad. Like,
It
it
wasn't-
started. Because it starts out with Reva on Tatooine.
yes.
Which
Oh,
threw me off because I was like, how fast did she get here?
this is what I'm
This
talking
is what
about.
throws me off for the episode is the time. Because there's two things going on. There's
Yep.
the Vader Kenobi stuff and then the Reva on Tatooine stuff. At the end of episode 5, it makes it seem like Vader is right on the tail of Kenobi.
Yeah, he is.
And Reva's on the ground dying, finds a message. It does not seem like she would get to Tatooine before Vader fights Kenobi.
Exactly. I thought...
So I don't know, like, if they're just doing it to, like, have two different things going on at the same time. But it happened, like, the Reva stuff happens. Maybe, like, she gets a Tatooine But no, because the whole day passes.
Yeah. Well, it threw me
I
off
don't know.
because to use a baseball analogy that I don't fully comprehend but will try, it's kind of felt like Obi-Wan Kenobi was going to have a double header. Like he was going to go fight Vader, then he was going to go to Tatooine and fight Reva.
That was my prediction. Remember, like, I thought they were going to do Vader right away, finish it, and then Reva was going to show up on Tatooine, and Obi-Wan's like, I gotta go.
It was going to be an eventful
And
50
it would
minutes.
it was like, to me, that just timeline-wise, that just makes sense. Like, I don't hate what they did. It's just, like, it boggles my mind how she is already on Tatooine before Vader even catches Kenobi.
The laws of time and space for Reva are merely a suggestion. Okay, they already did this in the tunnel sequence in like
Yeah.
episode 3.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'll give that a pass because whatever. But then they did it this time and it was even more egregious in my opinion where
I think it's just more egregious because at least with the tunnel thing, you can be like, well, they didn't film her running throughout the tunnel. Okay.
Right.
But this one, it's like, to open with it. If they opened with Obi-Wan, with Leia on the ship, which was the second part where they're on the ship getting shot at by the Imperials, if they opened up with that, then went to Reva, it would just, I don't know, fit a little better.
it would flow better. It's weird
Yeah.
starting out the episode with the person who was dying on the ground in the last episode already on a new planet. By the way, like we don't even know how she got to Tatooine.
That too. What if maybe if they just showed her showing up with a ship? Okay, then cool. She shows up in the crowd, knocks some port. Well, the dude cut in line first, and then she knocked his water down. But it just threw me off because
It was like a lot of the rest of the show, it was fast and loose, but that was especially fast and loose. And
It took me out of it a little.
and that was the start of it. So that's
Yeah.
it's the fact that it took it out to you in the start. But then they were just running away from the Imperial Star Destroyer again.
Which I didn't mind the pacing on that. It
No.
was fine.
Well, see, I was like, this is the Kenobi show we're waiting for. This is the finale. And
Yeah.
then he separates. They took their time, but it wasn't a terrible amount of time. It kind of took what was
And
necessary.
what he did with Leia made sense. She's like, because the whole thing is like, all of them thought he was just going off to die.
Right.
Because they thought he couldn't take them. And so the whole like interaction with Leia, when she gave him, when they were talking about the droid and she was like showing other people the droid and she's it's because they're scared and it makes them smile. And he was like, I could use the droid right now. That was cool. Like when the show started, like episode 1 and you see Leia, I was very hesitant. Not because I didn't like the actress playing Leia, the kid. I was just like, why are we doing a kid?
It's straight. Yeah, well,
but she grew on me.
She grew on me too. It just that there were dialogue moments, and that was one of them where it's like, she's 10. She doesn't.
Yeah.
She looks younger, but she talks like a 60-year-old. Like that's something a 10-year-old would not say.
And I just think they're doing that because it's Leia.
Yeah, she's gonna be the general, the leader.
And it kind of makes sense. She is the princess. She's with Bail Organa. Like,
that is true, but then you compare it to what they did to Luke in the show, and man, they did Luke dirty compared to.
Well,
Leia.
he's just a scrapper.
Yeah,
he's a moisture
They made him a
farmer's
dumb
son.
kid. They made Luke an actual like 10-year-old, and they made Leia wise beyond her years.
Exactly.
We'll get to Luke later, but that I was very confused. Fast and loose with continuity, like we said in the past episodes, and Luke really shows the fast and loose continuity.
With continuity?
Yeah, I'll get into it.
Okay.
Well,
We'll get there.
So they finally separate after Leia's helping.
Do you think they're setting up, because Ice Cube's son, I forget his name.
No way they're setting up something with that character.
When he was leaving, he was like, hey, like, you don't gotta go. Like, we can fix the ship. You don't gotta go. And he's like, you're a good leader. Like, don't waste it or something. And he's like, I'm not going to. And then he walks away. I'm like, are they setting him up for a show?
I would be shocked if they're doing something with that character. He just seems so background and kind of.
I didn't hate it. It was just like.
No, it wasn't a bad character. He was just a total background character. Like,
and we'll get to it later on, but I think they were like leaving everything like open-ended. I was like, why?
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Well, that's the thing is when they separated, when Kenobi actually took like a extra transport escape pod type thing.
Yeah, they're
and
like
the rest of the ship. You had the Grand Inquisitor on the bridge of the Star Destroyer, and he said, "Hey, we can just stamp out this rebellion right now.
Like because
we're gonna get rid of the OT right now.
I wish
no problem."
because they called it the insurgents. I
think
wish
they did, yeah.
Because they haven't used the words "the path" since they brought it up. Like,
I didn't even realize they didn't even finish that. I
wish the Grand Inquisitor was like, "Hey, we've been looking for these path people for a while.
For like 10 years now.
How about we
can just stamp out that
snip
problem?
this in the butt." He's just one dude. And Vader's like,
we're going.
It's Kenobi. Which, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And then,
because Kenobi can start a lot more than, I'm sorry, that group of.
Well, yeah, in a way, he just doesn't have the motivation for it.
I think he has a motivation now.
I disagree. I think he was really into the hermit kind of lifestyle. That was really appealing to him.
No, but like this episode especially, like last episode, I thought we got old Kenobi. This episode especially.
Oh yeah, he aged like
he's back to normal.
Yeah, he aged 5 years between episodes 4 and 6. 5 and 6. So he goes to an unnamed planet. I loved what the planet looked like, that's for sure. If you're going to have a showdown with a lightsaber battle, that's the planet to do it on.
And then Vader
shows up.
alone.
Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah, he shows up alone. He's going to just have a fight with Obi-Wan. And that's kind of the main selling point of the episode, really. That's kind
Everybody was looking for it.
And I think it started like 15 minutes into the episode. I tried.
It did.
It went fast. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, wow. Well, we have a ways to go.
Which worried me because I was like, what are they going to do? What?
Exactly. If they started fighting and there's 40 minutes left, I'm like, either this is a 40-minute fight or we're getting 20 minutes versus Vader and then the next 20 minutes versus Reva.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that sounds appealing.
It does.
They went to that rock tower planet that was kind of reminiscent of like Avatar: The Last Airbender to me, but it was a good showdown. I like the.
Oh, it was a great fight.
Oh,
I will say, though, I understand your point about the lightsabers now.
you do?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know what I think it is? Because I watched the scene 3 times. I think it's weird to us because we see the light on the bodies.
Yep. It's the exposure problem. It looks like it washes almost everything out.
Not that it just also it does, but at the same time, we've never seen lightsabers do that.
Those are bright too. Because
Yeah.
like you look at
And like it's not just because it's a night scene, just like we've never even in a like when Luke was fighting Vader in the Death Star, it was very dark. You don't see green covering his
Luke,
body.
his entire body, by the way.
Like I'm not saying it looks bad. It just looks weird.
Yeah, it's not what you're used to, especially once like you pointed out. I think that's when you're like, oh, whoa, that does look strange. Because yeah, you look at like the Mustafar fight in Episode 3. Those lightsabers are not shining onto their bodies. It's like
No.
an independent
Yeah.
light source, and I kind of like that look for some reason. It's less distracting, and
It
You
is
can-
you
you can have
You-
better looking like cinematography and like shots if you don't have something that's washing out and overexposed.
I just think it was like like if they just toned it down a little.
Yep.
Like I'm not saying like it makes sense that there's glow on them, but it takes away from them
If it was cut in half, if it was literally 50% less,
Yeah.
it would look great.
because they're doing like those new lightsabers where they're like glowing on set.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And that's the
That's
reason
how they
why.
did it.
Yeah, and that's what like it was really bright in this one.
Yeah.
I did like the fight though. I
Oh, the
have to
fight
admit,
was great.
dude, the choreography was better than anything in the sequel trilogy. I mean, it was really good.
It felt like it mattered.
Yeah.
Like every he opened up with his classic pose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I actually thought, because I know I said that I didn't really watch Rebels, but I saw that clip in Rebels where it was Maul versus him on Tatooine,
yep.
Old Ben,
Yep.
and he kind of did the same pose,
Yep.
and then he changed it to like Qui-Gon and then to Ben Kenobi. Like he did 3 different poses in the span
Because he
of
knew how to what Maul was gonna do.
what he was
So he was
expecting.
gonna open up with what Maul thought he would do, and then he changed it a little
Right. So I
because
thought,
he knew what Maul was gonna do. Because like in Rebels, you see Maul grin because
he's always going to beat him.
he's like, I know that move. I'm gonna do the move that I killed his master,
Hmm.
and then Obi-Wan just tweaked it a little.
And yeah, I thought maybe they were
Which
going
is
to take
kind
that.
of cool because he's like, like that means like Obi-Wan thought about it. Like if Qui-Gon did this.
Yeah, I thought it was great. But so I'm glad they almost just stuck with. I thought they were just going to go to Alec Guinness's pose or whatever to the fight, but they just started, and it was like seeing Episode 3, Vader versus Obi-Wan. It was really great saber fighting,
Yeah,
and it's the selling point of the episode, honestly.
for sure.
It was not in a bad way, but it was almost like something you would see out of a Star Wars comic book. The way they used the Force during the fight, I thought it was interesting. I just never
I've
seen
wanted
it.
to bring this up. Ever since Disney's gotten Star Wars, live action Force use has gone kind of nuts.
Yeah, it's a little wonky.
Because like in the original trilogy, the Force was like,
very sparingly used.
yes. And it makes you seem like, oh, this takes a lot.
Yeah.
And then you go to the prequel trilogy, they're using the Force a lot more, mostly just to push things or pull things. Not a ton of things, or wave a fruit in front of your love interest.
Oh, the pair. Yeah.
But then you're like, well, these are more experienced younger Jedi. They can do this. And then the sequel trilogy opens up like,
Fast and loose, baby.
there's so many rocks. I can lift so many rocks.
I know it's a bit anime-ish, which isn't like, it's not my cup of tea, but I'm not gonna like take a hard stance against it.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just you. when you do, I don't mind that they did it with Vader.
Okay, because he's just like the most powerful.
Yeah,
right.
and he's just filled with anger right now. When Obi-Wan did it,
That looked weird to me.
it looked weird.
It just didn't look like it fit. And the thing is,
And then you never see him do anything like that before, where he's constantly, like, I get he's in a fight for his life, even though we know it's not a fight for his life, just because we know Episode 4 happened, which
But then you go to Empire Strikes Back, and like when it's the thing is with the original 6 is I feel like they really separate combat, like lightsaber fighting, and force use, because you have the Bespin fight, which is a great fight between Darth Vader and Luke, but there's just that portion of the fight where
he's just like throwing,
things, and he takes his time.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you have Obi-Wan in this episode just completely, yeah. It looks like something out of a comic book. It looks great in a comic book. Looks a little weird live action.
Yeah.
And
Vader doing it didn't look weird when he like slammed all the rocks down onto him, and he was just piling more and more onto him. But yeah, when Obi-Wan did it, it was like, this isn't what I just felt like, I don't know.
Obviously, this is a spoiler-filled discussion, and I hope you've seen the episode because we completely ruined the continuity of that fight as well. There's a moment where Darth Vader looks like Eddie Vedder. Okay, Darth Vader completely almost bests Obi-Wan and almost buries him alive.
Yeah.
And then Obi-Wan has kind of a hokey, corny voiceover flashbacks of all his adventures in time with Leia, and has the motivation.
And there were Anakin lines in there too.
Oh yeah.
It was like a bunch of like just stuff to like motivate him, I think. But I liked it where he was like using the Force to like.
And then he finally gets out. He pelts Darth Vader and totally gets the upper hand. He kind of bashes his respirator system.
Yeah, cuts his mask
open, which is the best part of the fight.
I did love it a lot.
I had the feeling it was kind of strange because there was that interaction where Darth Vader explains that he killed Anakin, meaning like, he buried the personality of Anakin. He is now Darth Vader. And I'm like, okay, well, now that you know Anakin's gone, maybe you can just kind of kill this guy because it's Darth Vader and you could save the galaxy a reign of terror. But I understand why they can't do that for obvious reasons.
Well, also, I haven't read all the comics and stuff, but like on videos on YouTube and stuff, I've seen like, I think like that's a big thing with him is that
he refuses to kill Darth Vader.
No, Darth Vader has like this like turmoil within himself of Anakin versus Darth Vader.
Oh right, yeah.
So even though he's saying like he killed Anakin, because we know Anakin comes back out in Episode 6, it's that constant like thing that he's fighting. So even though he says he's dead, he's not. Which is why I don't think he could. I mean, he could kill Obi-Wan. I think in that moment he could have. But with the cutting of the mask open, I know you haven't seen Rebels, but they did that in Rebels too.
I haven't seen Rebels, but I have seen that YouTube clip
where it's
him
Vader versus Ahsoka.
Right?
Yeah.
And like Ezra's getting off on the ship and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I like that they did it in the Kenobi show. They did it well, and like it was emotional. Like I was watching with my girlfriend, she was crying.
Wow.
Like tearing up.
Okay.
Over this scene, and like it was a really well done scene where his voice is cutting in and out with the respirator.
Yes, and that's another thing.
And you hear Hayden's voice.
That's the thing is I almost like there was a part of me that wished that we got Hayden as Darth Vader in general because this is the youngest we've seen Darth Vader. Like in
Episode 3 at the end.
We're not gonna count. We're not gonna count the 2 lines that James Earl Jones said in Episode 3. But so I was kind of hoping that, but now I take it back because seeing this episode, James Earl Jones's voice is awesome when he's fighting Obi-Wan.
It's not his real voice, remember?
Oh, did they like?
They did what they did with Luke's voice in The Mandalorian.
Oh, they de-aged his voice?
No, they didn't de-age it. It's an AI.
No.
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, it sounds great, right?
It fooled me. I had no idea.
It's an AI. That's why it sounds like younger Earl Jones, because they sampled his voice from like around New Hope time.
It sounds
because his voice today does not sound.
Well, that's what I was expecting. I was expecting they did some digital trickery. I was not expecting AI. But
yeah, it's AI. It's an AI like voice program.
Yeah, so I take it back because like during the fight, like he just sells Darth Vader when you hear that voice. You're like, yeah, that would sound weird if it was Hayden. But then when the mask was cut, hearing Hayden intermix with it, I'm like, oh, this is the best part because it was the highlight of the episode for me.
And both their performances were great.
Yep. And so, and this is the thing, is so he refuses to kill Darth. He just says goodbye. Well, and
Hold
that's
on. No, that yeah,
that line? Are we thinking the same line?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't talking about a line. I was just gonna say it makes me angry because in the beginning he talks to Qui-Gon in the beginning like how he did earlier in the series too. He's like, I'm gonna go fight a master. Today it's gonna end. And when I heard that, I was like, well, what's gonna happen where like
you both live? Yeah.
Yeah, like is something gonna happen where they get separated and Obi-Wan's like, all right, peace. But the way they like both like Ewan and Hayden's emotions in that scene, perfect. It was perfect.
It was great, but for some reason...
But it doesn't make sense if he's going in there with the mindset, I'm going to end it all, that he just walks away and doesn't kill his friend.
I agree. And that's the weird thing. Is because, and he even gets like his conscience cleared right before that, saying like, hey, guess what? You didn't kill Anakin. I killed Anakin, Darth Vader says. So I thought like, oh, that gives him like free good conscience just to end this, like he wanted to. But instead he just goes...
I thought the same thing where when he heard that, I thought something was going to click in his brain where he's like, all right, Anakin's dead.
Yeah,
like
these hands are rated D for Darth Vader right now.
Yeah, and then like I can like separate the two and be just like go full force on him.
Yeah,
just, like,
and end this in good conscience and not like, well, that was just the weird thing, is how he didn't feel like he was going to end this conflict, because he's like, you know what, I'm going to wait for your kid to kill you. Because he tells Luke to kill him in episode 6. He's just like, kill him, Luke.
That's the thing with this fight is like, yeah, it was a great fight, but it's like, you know...
It raises questions.
Well, and it's like, you know, nothing too bad can happen to either one because
they got the finish line in episode 4 and
what
New
happens.
Hope and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, you know what happens.
For some reason, I did find the line a little bit funny. I chuckled when he just went, goodbye, Darth. And you just called him Darth.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, first name basis, okay. It just sounded strange when I heard it. Anyway, so he leaves the planet to go to Tatooine because
he senses Luke.
He's in danger.
He was leaving, and he senses Luke's in danger because... Now we'll switch to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
But before we leave Obi-Wan right now, it does piss me off, too. He's playing with his lightsaber in the beginning, right? Because he got his lightsaber back from that one fake Jedi dude who I still cannot remember his name. Haja, yeah. Where's the communicator? Why wasn't he like, hey...
I gave you more than this.
I gave you more than this. Where is it? Oh, I dropped it. Huh, that disturbance in the Force I felt earlier. Maybe there was a connection.
You're right.
So that's all I was thinking when I saw him playing with his lightsaber. I was like, why didn't you ask where the communicator was? Like, what's going on?
It was, well, the only other logical problem I had was when he left the planet after the fight with Darth Vader, is there was the Imperial Star Destroyer parked right outside the planet. If they see Kenobi's ship leave,
I mean, it could be a thing where they know Vader wants Kenobi.
Well, I suppose, but they're like, hey, do you think we should just kind of help him out here? And
like, if you think about it, like, this is Vader's ship.
I suppose.
Like, the Grand Inquisitor was like, hey, we should do this. No one else was saying that.
Fair enough. But
Vader was like, go after that ship. And the officer was like, yes, sir. Yes, I will do that.
Kenobi goes to Tatooine using light speed. And by the way, they must have been pretty close to Tatooine because he got there in no time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the physics of light speed, but...
Well, Tatooine to Alderaan in the New Hope, they were chilling on... Like, Han Solo...
It did take a while.
He went off the cockpit and he was just like, okay, what's going on over here? And he was, in his lightsaber training with the little floaty bot.
But they got... Hey... Like you keep on saying this whole time.
Fast and loose, baby.
You don't know how long he's in that ship.
So he goes to Tatooine, makes it in no time. And let's talk about the traumatic experience Luke has that apparently he forgets the home invasion of Uncle Owen's and Aunt Beru's Tatooine condo. Because
we said Reva showed up on Tatooine first. That's what we see first. She was finding out where Owen is.
With a vengeance. She's here to kill Luke.
Yes, and we'll get to that in a second. I have so much about that. But, so then Owen and Luke come into town to get a new belt for his speeder because Luke broke it.
Yep.
Owen's not happy. And then the dude that told Reva where to find Owen came in and is like, hey, Owen, I did a big oopsie. And I told this crazy person where you live. So then they go back.
Yep.
And then Owen was talking to Baru and be like, hey,
We got to get out of here.
like, we got to go hide. That lady's coming for Luke.
And it went full on Western. And she's like, no, we're packing here.
I
we're
love that. She like pulls out a hole in the side of the wall of PVC pipe. And Owen's like, what?
2 blaster rifles just
Yeah.
hidden in the homestead. And then, yeah, it's at night. But for some reason, they also know that she's going to attack at night because...
I mean, it's kind of stupid to attack during the day.
Well,
It's
if
hot.
if the sun's in their eyes and it's through
But
your
it's
back...
hot.
It's hot. I'm with
But they're
that.
wearing a coat.
Wait,
That
you're
always
right.
bothers me when I see people at Tatooine and they're wearing more than a shirt. Like they're wearing layers.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a desert thing because
Well, at night it gets cold, I know, because...
I know at night, but it was during the day. I don't know.
So I'm with you on that one. During the day, with a binary sun, 2 suns, it's going to get hot in there.
Yeah.
It's going to get spelt.
they tell Luke to hide because of like Tusken Raiders.
Yes.
I was like, at that point, I was like, oh, this is how they're gonna get away with Luke.
Not knowing
Yeah.
anything. Because Luke is a complete... Like, ignorance is bliss in New Hope. He has, like, zero understanding of the greater galaxy and
Like he's heard stories of
the
Jedi
Clone
and
Wars,
stuff.
doesn't really know
Like,
anything.
It seems like he's heard stories, but hasn't experienced anything.
Right. So with them just saying, hey, the Tuskens are raiding homes, stay in here, stay hidden, I'm like, okay, now I understand. Because if Luke sees someone come at him with a red lightsaber, he's going to be like, what's happening to me right now?
Yeah.
Why is this happening? I have questions. Answer them, please. So Reva starts into the homestead. It kind of bothered me that both Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen didn't like go on opposite ends to flank her.
They were on the same.
They were on the
side.
same side of the circle, and they started firing at her.
But they're not soldiers.
They're
don't
not
know.
soldiers, and I think blasters just don't have very good accuracy in Star Wars because she was standing like 15 feet away,
Yeah.
and Owen missed.
I will say, even though Reva's injured, they put up a fight.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
oh my god,
and then I was like, why did Reva think she could take on Darth Vader?
I couldn't believe it when Owen. I mean,
She's injured.
Still the fight with Owen. I'm like, dude, if you give Owen a lightsaber, he could have defeated Darth. I mean, like Owen was holding his own against
Yeah.
the Inquisitor. When she has a lightsaber and he just has a pipe or something. I don't even know.
Flower pot.
Oh, yeah. But no, I mean, the tensions were rising, and then she force pushes him off of a bridge somehow. He breaks his leg. I'm assuming that Owen in A New Hope didn't break his leg, but he gave him a limp. And I'm assuming he was limping in the original movie.
I don't remember that.
Oh, dude, he was just limping around for the last 20 minutes of the episode.
I don't remember that.
And then anyway, she opens up the room where Luke is. Beru like blindsides her and says, "Run, Luke!" So Luke saw someone come in with a red lightsaber.
Well, no, I don't. Was
His
there a
back was turned.
lightsaber?
Yeah, her
No.
lightsaber was on. I took note.
Okay.
And then, his back. You can say for the people in the comments, "Oh, his back was turned." His back was turned, and he starts running away from the homestead into the I'm going to say Beggar's Canyon. It looked like Beggar's Canyon, or it was the Dune Sea. Don't know. But Reva goes after him.
Sprinting.
And so it's nighttime on Tatooine, all this stuff. He's running away. And I think that's when Obi-Wan shows up to the homestead.
Yes, when she's running, she just shows up.
Yeah.
And then Owen and Beru are looking for, just yelling out to the dune sea, Luke.
And that's what bothered me is
Luke.
because, but they're on a sand planet. You can see tracks in sand. They should be
Yes.
able to track him down and know the general direction he went in.
And then
Anyway.
Obi-Wan comes out, where is he?
Right. And then they cut to Reva and Luke is just kind of running away from her on a bridge. She uses the Force, pushes him down on a rock
Knocks him
slide,
out.
knocks him out. But I swear, I took note that he saw a red lightsaber during this somewhere. And so he should have questions tomorrow.
I don't know. They could just explain it away, being like because he doesn't know because lightsabers aren't like a huge thing anymore.
Yeah, but that's like a traumatic experience, a home invasion when you're 10 years old and someone's trying to kill you.
But also, it's Tatooine. It's pretty rough out there.
I suppose it must be really
Sorry,
rough.
you lived a nice, cushy life with air conditioning. He is a moisture farmer.
And then, then she's about to kill him. And then she has the flashback of, oh, he was once a child. Like me. I was once a child.
So this, yeah, and she has like, am I Anakin? Because she keeps on
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
Anakin stabbing her.
Oh, my
She
God.
she sees herself as Luke. Yada yada yada. I don't get her motivation. Hold on, I didn't bring this up yet because we were just recapping. I don't know why she went to kill Luke.
I don't know.
Was it because she is in the recording? It doesn't say Anakin's son.
Yeah.
So is she getting? Because
All the recordings
she said earlier that I'm doing it for justice.
It doesn't make any sense. So how you're confused why she's doing this, I'm confused why she's in the show. Because so far, like, none of her actions actually have anything to do with what's happening in the show.
Like, you can argue that, but like, just in this moment, like, is she like doing this to get back at Obi-Wan or
No.
doing this to get back at Anakin? I don't know. They don't make it clear.
No.
Why she's going after Luke. All we know is she's going after Luke.
It's very irritating, especially after you just pointed it out like that. I mean, it's insane. It doesn't make any sense because, like you said, on the little hologram, all she said was, "There's children on Tatooine. Owen will need help."
Yeah.
And then
So
off that,
it
she's
makes
playing this
sense
major hunch.
that she knows to go to Tatooine to look for Owen and a child. She doesn't know it's Anakin's child because next to Darth Vader being Anakin, one of the best kept secrets in the galaxy,
He has kids.
Luke and Leia being his kids
Yeah.
is even more secret. Only 3 people know about. Well,
Dude.
4. 5. Baru, Owen, Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Bail.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm assuming Bale's wife knows.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Bale's
That's
wife
it.
doesn't think that that's Leia's her kid.
Yeah.
That's for
But
sure.
like,
But here's the thing, and this is the annoying thing about the show is, like, you had a great climax with the fight between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan, and then there's just this kind of petering off on Tatooine.
that doesn't make sense.
Because
they could have had it make sense.
she has Luke dead to rights. She's gonna kill the kid, and then she has a flashback being like, "This is what happened to me. Is this really right?" So she doesn't do it. She carries him miles back to the homestead, and then Obi-Wan and her have this heart-to-heart, and he's telling her, "Oh, you didn't fail them. You gave the people, your family, peace and all that. You didn't become Darth Vader." And then
because she's like, did I become him?
it was I didn't enjoy that. It was just a very strange
And
scene.
then he's like, you're. What did he say? He's like, you're okay now.
I don't
Or-
even know.
No,
Oh,
you're free now.
yeah, and who you become is now up to you.
So-
You're not tied to your past.
Yeah. So
But-
this is how they end that.
And then I thought, well, okay, maybe just have a slight, whatever, you can argue, redemption arc for Reva, and then have her die of her wounds or something.
That's what I was like. Why didn't she just die? Because I thought the revenge was the only thing. Because like you see her like in pain, so it's pretty clear that she didn't get like she didn't go get stitched up or anything. I
She
think
didn't even see a back to tank.
like I think she's like how they reference revenge keeps you alive.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
episode
Grand
before.
Inquisitor.
Yeah, if the revenge was the only thing keeping her alive, to go to Tatooine to try to kill Luke for who knows why, like if she were to succumb to her injuries, I would have liked it more.
Well, and it would have made sense because obviously she's not in any of the original Star Wars, so it's like, okay, that's what happened to that character. Are we
Which-
getting a spinoff?
it scares me.
Are we getting a spinoff?
Because-
Jacob, I need to know. Are we getting a spinoff?
Because then they end that's the end basically.
No, because the ending is so much worse, Jacob.
The
It
ending,
gets so
you
much
don't
worse.
like the ending?
Oh my
After
gosh.
that?
It gets
That
so
was the
much
last
worse.
thing I didn't like in the episode.
No, because I thought it was
All right, so then it goes,
the next day.
yeah, and then
He goes and first of all, he's wearing his Alec Guinness
yes,
drip,
yes,
and it looks nice. I mean, it's on Tatooine, and then he goes to visit the homestead one more time to be like, "Hey, I'm gonna keep my distance."
hold on, that's not even before that. He goes to Alderaan.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Wait, so he packs up his cave and then goes to Alderaan?
He goes to Alderaan first.
Oh, okay. You're right. Okay.
So
he
you
goes to
see Leia
Alderaan,
like putting on like
sees Leia.
general type clothing for a
holster,
kid with the
yeah.
holster. The mom's like, I like it. And then Obi-Wan comes back to give her the droid. I like that moment. And
It
the
was
moment they have with Leia, I didn't hate it. It worked.
It worked because you spent the last 6 episodes with them together, so it better
Yeah.
work.
And like
it's kind of weird. It doesn't really make much sense how he's like, well, no one must know about you and me knowing each other, or else things are just that's dangerous for people to know that for some reason. And so they set it up so when they obviously when she's in A New Hope, she doesn't go, hey,
And she has like this
Ben, can you help me?
knowledge of like she has a similarity, which because it always like not saying it didn't make sense, but in The New Hope it was like, okay, you call your dad's friend for help.
Well, yeah, because it's a war hero type thing and all that.
Yeah,
I
but
would
like if you
understand
don't know him, would you really go to him for help?
fair enough.
So the fact that she has this experience and has this kind of like legend of a
It makes sense why she thinks of him when she
Yes.
needs help. Okay, okay.
And she's
you turn,
like,
you turn me
I-
around on that scene.
and
You turn me
she's
around.
like, maybe she's like, I don't really know him. He helped us that one time when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're a kid, you don't remember all the specific. Like, I can't remember what happened when I was 10. Like, a specific moment. I
No.
can remember pieces. Like, I see images. Even though it was, like, a traumatic experience, she's like, yeah, this dude helped us, like...
I trust him giving him the plans.
Yeah.
So no, I'm with you. You turn me around on that scene. It works now.
and she doesn't fully know who he is, but they had a nice little moment.
Right. And then here's the big. Sorry, I just thought this was there's two just bad scenes after another at the end here, where he
Alright.
packs up his cave.
Which we said was going to happen.
Yeah, because he got moved. He got a better real estate plan.
Yeah.
Thank God, because I was not a fan of that cave. So he finally packs up his cave. He's putting on the Alec Guinness drip.
Mm-hmm.
Goes to the homestead to say bye to Owen, and I'll keep my distance and all this stuff.
Because Owen was like, I thought you told us you were going to keep your distance. And okay, I get Owen, like, you don't want him to, like, be there because it's dangerous and you don't like the danger that comes. You just want a nice, simple life. At the same time, like, it's a freaking Jedi Master. Like, he could get you out of some holes.
You gotta put it into perspective, buddy.
That's an extra hand on the farm.
Well, that's the thing is Luke is just off in the corner playing on like
the oil drum.
I don't even know. Like Luke is like they're giving Leia a lot to do, a lot of lines. Luke's just kind of off in the corner playing.
But it makes sense because Leia was in the senator life
I
from the
understand,
get-go.
But like Luke is just so uninvolved. And then so he's doing that, and then I almost like I thought, okay, this is a clean break. Is that he was just saying his goodbyes and he was leaving, and then Owen goes, "Hey, Ben, you want to meet him?"
It was weird, right? Like,
because Owen's always been super protective of Luke, and then even in their New Hope, he goes, "Stay away from that man."
yeah.
That old wizard. No good will come from it. Just stay away from him.
If he would have said, like, do you want to meet him before he was like, keep your distance?
Yeah.
Like, if he like was like, hey, you helped.
Credit where credit's due.
You came when he needed help. You didn't do anything.
But see, okay.
So if he was like, hey, do you want to meet him? Obi-Wan has this nice little moment with Luke, whatever. And then he goes back to Owen and be like, all right, I'll be over here now. If then Owen was like, all right, stay away.
Yeah. Well, see, because it was
no good came
it
from
kinda,
you.
It was set up so well where it's like, okay, if Ben just kind of keeps his distance, it makes sense why Luke doesn't really know him, because he's just like, I wonder if he's related to Ben Kenobi. Like that's like, he kind of knows him secondhanded.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He knows about, like, it's in The New Hope. It seems like he's hung out with Ben before.
I don't know if he's hung out with him. It's
It
not like
seems like he has.
I never got like a Frodo.
We will
Gandalf
watch the scene
partnership.
again. I swear, it seems like they haven't seen each other in a while, but it seems like when he was a kid, Ben was around.
Well, it seems like, if I'm being honest, Obi-Wan kind of changed the wrong portion of his name if he went into hiding. His name's Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he's like, well, I need a false name now to
So
live
just
under. And
change the
he's like, Ben Kenobi.
Yeah,
No one will
Kenobi, the very
It took-
popular surname.
It took Luke in A New Hope like 5 seconds to crack that walnut, where he's like, Kenobi? I wonder if that's Ben Kenobi down the road.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, related to Ben Kenobi.
Okay. But then he goes, hey, you want to meet him? And I thought Obi-Wan was going to say, no, thank you, though. No, I thought he was going to refuse. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. No, he walks straight up to the kid, and he just
but
goes,
then we get the line.
We get the line, so a lot can be forgiven because he
That
goes,
everyone was
"Hello there."
after every episode, everyone's like, "Why the hell did we not get the hello there in this particular part?"
I mean, it's a great way to. I mean, you have to start with hello, but it's a great way to hello there. And then they cut away. He's driving his camel back to his new crib in the canyon, and then we get a Force ghost, and I'm like, this is when you decide to put Qui-Gon in the show. He's been
I
like,
don't hate that though.
dude,
It
just-
worked.
no,
Because like the whole thing of Obi-Wan in the series was like he like suppressed the Force and everything. Like even in the beginning, he was trying to talk to his master, but it wasn't working. And he like I think Obi-Wan like after his fight with Vader has really like come to terms with A, what he is gonna be now, and B, like come to terms with what happened. Because Qui-Gon says like, or Obi-Wan says, "I thought you never come," and he's like, I was always here, you just couldn't see me.
yeah, that's exactly what he says. I just don't get it. Like, it just seemed like a weird place to end the series, because then right after that, they just go, okay, that's the end.
Well, because I think because now he's going on to, because his whole thing was Yoda at the end of episode 3 was like, "Hey, you're gonna go train with Qui-Gon." So I'm assuming like he hasn't been able to do that yet.
It felt
So that's what he's gonna go do now.
I don't know. It just felt like weird to
I
me.
loved it.
It felt
I
weird.
loved it.
It was just
I loved it.
It gave me a weird feeling, and I didn't really. It was just strange to end on that note. And then, yeah, it ends.
Well,
The
and
series is
and there
done.
was before there was also a Darth Vader scene with the
Oh,
Emperor.
yeah. Which, by the way, he got convinced way too early, in my opinion. In that
I don't think
scene.
he got convinced.
He just says what he wants to hear. Keep his job.
Well,
Okay.
that's what he does with the Emperor all the time.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing with the Sith is like, I'm trying to kill you, but you technically are the master.
They're the boss. Okay, so that concludes the show.
Well, before we give what are our thoughts on the entire series,
Yeah.
the ending for almost every character in the show makes it seem like they're going to do another season, and I don't want them to.
I don't understand if that's possible.
I'm fine. Well, okay. The only person I would be fine with them doing more with is Kenobi.
I don't want to see any more.
Because if they can just do Kenobi without anybody else, like have him go on adventures and whatever, okay. I can get behind it at least. Like if they do something cool, I won't be like, you're messing with something you shouldn't mess with. People after this series have been calling for a Vader show.
Well, yeah, but I just wouldn't know what that would entail.
Not just that. Vader works because we don't know everything about him.
They do use him sparingly, even in this show. They really use him
One
sparingly.
thing I will give Disney credit, other than some of the cartoon stuff, live action Star Wars, Disney has done amazing with Darth Vader.
I agree. Even in Rogue One, he was awesome in Rogue
Everything
One.
Vader is in live action, perfect.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. It's just look. I think this was not a great experience for me overall. The show. I'm glad it is over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad it was only 6 episodes too. I can't imagine waiting another week.
It should have been a movie.
It should have been a movie. It's really. I mean, it didn't tell a huge story. It didn't. It wasn't.
No.
It didn't require 6 episodes.
It did not.
And I'm just glad that it's done. If I'm being honest,
I just hate that it turned into a Disney Plus selling point.
Yeah.
Because and I think it was also, I mean, I don't know, I'm not in the boardroom or anything, but maybe the Solo movie not doing well, maybe they were like, maybe doing a side movie of a old character, maybe not the best thing.
I don't know. It was. I'm just glad it's done. I'm glad I've seen it. I don't think I'll watch it again.
I could watch episodes 5 and 6 again.
Not in its entirety. I'll watch like the fight clip, and that's about it.
I can watch the entirety of 5 and 6 and
I'm
have
happy for
a
you.
good time.
I'm happy for you.
But I would watch maybe the beginning of episode 1.
Oh no, I couldn't do anything.
But like,
I'm tapped out.
I can see like scenes of Obi-Wan being like in the boring life. Like it just could have done so well as a movie.
I'm just yeah. No, I
The
think it
first
should have been a
15
movie.
minutes is just him
They
in
could have done.
Tatooine alone.
They could have done a solid
They could
2-hour
have done.
movie.
Oh, could you imagine if they did like a silent 15 minutes of him just being boring in Tatooine?
No, that would be terrible.
No,
I would
what
hate
it-
that. I mean, it was just. I'm so glad it's done. I cannot tell you the relief that like I don't have to wait another week to see it because I was gonna watch it no matter what. Because I'm like, I've invested this much time. I need to see how it ends. I don't need to see it anymore. I don't need to see a season 2. I don't need to see any spin-off characters. I don't need a Haja spin-off
Dude,
show.
I'm telling you,
I
how
don't need a.
they left everyone open.
Well, when you said that, I actually got a little bit concerned because I know they have a new show coming out called Skeleton Crew.
yes,
and
I
I
have
s-
nothing. I
if-
know nothing about it. What if it's
What if
about
it's Ice Cube's
son?
kid and Haja? Because like Kumail Nanjiani and I don't know Ice Cube's son's name, but it's something O'Neill, I think.
O'Shea?
O'Shea, that's what it is, O'Shea. But like I could see maybe them doing something because I know like Ice Cube's kid isn't really like a huge name, but Kumail Nanjiani is a pretty big name. So
He's gotten really big.
yeah, so maybe that's what Skeleton Crew is.
Well, we can look it up real quick.
Oh, okay, you do that, and I mean, it's just so strange to me. I don't need a Reva spinoff show. I don't need to see any more of her story.
Dude, if they would have let her die at the end of
It
the
would have
episode,
made sense.
just if you have a new character for this series, okay, cool. But she shows up nowhere else, like you said. I'm fine with them introducing new characters, like this new villain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Keep it contained in the show. Because it's just...
I just don't know the purpose of her character. I mean, it was just so strange, especially now that it's all said and done. I don't know what she contributed to the show. I know she was a catalyst for kidnapping Leia, getting Obi-Wan involved. And for that, I think her character served her purpose. But it's almost like in episode 4 when she was getting choked by Darth Vader, that's when she should have died. Like Darth Vader should have just been ruthless and killed her then because she really didn't contribute, I think, to any other aspects of the show for the rest of the show. I mean, like you said, her motivations were even ambiguous.
Her motivations were ambiguous in 1 through 4, yeah. But they made sense in episode 5 then.
Episode 5 was the only time it made sense.
But like it tied the entire what else she did together. This last episode, it makes no sense.
I don't know
if they just made
were
it
doing.
clear why she's going after Luke. Like even if it's just like I want to get back at Obi-Wan because that's the only reason
Yeah,
why
she knows it's connected to
because
Obi-Wan.
she doesn't know it's
connected to
I
Vader.
hope she doesn't know it's connected to Vader.
Well, that's a real leap. That's a real like jumping to a conclusion. If she actually thought that, I'm overall I'm glad that the show's done. I'm relieved I've seen it. I don't think I'll watch it again. I didn't really enjoy it, but I don't know what else to say. It's a very
there were
ambiguous show.
very good moments.
There were good moments.
Great moments between Ewan and Hayden.
If I'm being honest, the best way for me to say it is I don't think it was necessary at all. I don't think it was a necessary
And that's what a
show.
lot of people are saying when they announced it. It's like, is this necessary?
And now that it's all done, I don't think it was necessary at all. I mean, I didn't get anything from this show, to be honest.
Not even the Vader Obi-Wan stuff.
It was interesting, but I could go without it.
But if it was in movie form,
I would be way more likely and lenient towards it
And-
because I think it would benefit greatly if they needed to cut things out.
something if they would have gone this route more, what if they opened up every episode with a flashback? You didn't watch Book of Boba Fett, but I wonder if that's why they didn't do it. But if they did a Clone Wars flashback with Hayden and Ewan every episode, like open up with that.
If I'm being honest, like that would be a bigger selling point for me is if they actually made very important Clone Wars arcs, like the cartoon show.
Mm-hmm.
If they adapted it into a live action format, I would be way more willing to invest my time in that.
But like, not even just like adapting the arcs. Like, what if they just like? Because even in episode 2, they're talking about all these adventures they have.
That's a great point, actually. Yeah.
Like, like every episode, like Book of Boba Fett did this. I know you didn't watch it, but like every episode there would be a flashback.
His time with the Tuskens, right?
Yeah, and it would relate to the episode a little. What if they had flashbacks back to the Clone Wars or even back to during Revenge of the Sith?
It would have been more enjoyable. I mean,
like it relate to the episode somehow.
Yeah.
Like if there was, I'm not saying more Vader and Obi-Wan together, but not even show more Vader. Just like it seemed like they, as much as they hyped up talking about that relationship during the show, it seemed like that relationship wasn't really explored until episode 5. It was a little explored in episode 3.
Nope, you're completely right. You're completely right. It was.
I think they should have just
point.
leaned into that more completely.
I agree, but I mean, it was just if I think the show, the story it had, the characters, everything, it just felt aimless when you were watching it. Like you didn't really know where they were going. They didn't even know where this was going.
It seemed like all they knew is that they wanted Obi-Wan and Vader to fight again.
That was really, I feel like that's the thing.
That
They
was
had
the whole
idea.
reason why they wanted to do this show.
Yeah,
again.
but other than that, I just felt it was super aimless and just kind of trotting along to one planet to the next.
Mm-hmm.
No real story was in the show.
There
were great moments of performance, that's for sure. I will say that, especially by Ewan McGregor. But I mean, yeah,
he was amazing.
He was, yeah. He had
you can't take away from his performance. I'm
not going to fault that at all. It's just I'm glad the show's done. It was kind of a struggle for me to get through.
Yes.
What about you? Do you have the same sentiments or
kinda? I'm not like you where I'm like I'm never gonna watch it again. Like I might watch it again. I'm not like, oh, I want to rewatch it all over again. Like the Clone Wars series, like the animated one. I just watched it with my girlfriend all the way over again. I was eager to. And that's way longer than a 6-episode
that's a
series.
Giant commitment. Well, how does this make you view what they have planned coming up for like Disney Plus and the new spin-off shows?
Yeah. So I just looked up the Skeleton Crew.
Well, oh great, yeah.
Not that.
Thank goodness.
It has something to do with the animated show.
There would be no way I would watch that show if it was about Haja and Ice Cube's
Yeah,
kid.
it's not about them. It's about something in the Clone Wars show.
Okay. Well, here's the thing: is like Disney's now fully focusing on Disney Plus, right? They're not doing any Star Wars movies in the future, or for the foreseeable future that we know of.
Taiki, I can never say his
Taika
name.
Waititi.
He has a trilogy, right?
I think I read that somewhere.
I think because it was supposed to be the dudes that did Game of Thrones. They were supposed to get a trilogy, but then they messed up season 8, and then
Rian Johnson was supposed to get a trilogy.
He was. I think he might still.
Nah, that's put on ice right there. I think it's on ice right now.
Dude, they're just in.
And then you're right.
Such a mess.
Taika Waititi, who, if it might be tough for me to get through that one too. If he does his kind of trademark humor in Star Wars, it's going to be a tough watch for me.
If Marvel let him do it.
Well, he was really successful in Marvel. People really liked his
but
comedy.
like the fact that Marvel let him be him.
Yeah. And
I think Star Wars is gonna let him be him.
I think that's why they hired him.
Yes,
because
people loved Thor Ragnarok.
I was not one of them. We will talk about that.
Like Thor,
but yeah. So Taika Waititi, I know he's doing a trilogy.
Yes,
but everything else I heard
is shows.
So I know Andor's one.
Andor's next. That's in August.
Okay. I was looking forward to it more after watching Kenobi. I'm almost Star Warsed out.
You know, I will say, like, yeah, I can see what you're saying. It's going to be completely different, though. Because I think Bale's in it, right?
I got to say, I'm hyped because it's Coruscant and politics, baby. That's what we need from Star Wars right now. We need politics
we need
and
to
we
go
need
back
Coruscant.
to politics.
We're at a core planet.
I just think it'll work better because it's not Kenobi.
I agree.
I think there were high expectations for this show, Kenobi, and it wasn't perfect. So I think that's why we're feeling the way we're feeling, because we're like, we wanted more.
I don't know what the general consensus is of Rogue One. Personally, for me, I am a big fan of Rogue One.
It grew on me. I hated it when it came out.
I loved it.
I hated it because when did that come out?
2016. No way, it was 2016. Was 2016? What was it?
I think 2016.
Dude, 2016 was banging for movies.
2016 was a huge year for movies.
That was a banging year. You had Rogue One. You had Civil War. Civil War was 2016, right?
Yes.
Because I know for a fact Batman versus Superman was 2016.
Yeah, because
were we just living our best lives in 2016? Pokemon Go was a thing. I mean, that was the last spectacular year. Oh my gosh, what a year if that's true.
2016.
This is incredible. Oh my
So
gosh,
what?
the peak of
oh,
life.
why I hated it was when it came out because I wanted episode 8
Oh, okay, I
because
see.
it's weird because
You didn't want to get distracted from the sequel trilogy.
well, because there was never like anything like this before. It was the first one being like, "Hey, we're something else."
I was for it, and I was even hesitant because it was Gareth Edwards, and all I knew him from was the Godzilla movie with Bryan Cranston and Aaron. And I wasn't crazy about that Godzilla movie, so I'm like, oh man, this guy's gonna do Star Wars. He did it. I thought he knocked it out of the park. I
think it's a
that
pretty
movie.
boring movie until the third act.
I like it. I just like the look of it.
As much as we say the first 4 episodes of Kenobi were pretty boring, I think the first half of Rogue One.
The only problem I have with Rogue One, and we'll talk about it more in depth if we ever cover it, but is that I think Jyn Erso shouldn't really be the main character. I understand why she is.
I don't get why they didn't make Andor the main character.
That's the thing, and I think that's
well, now that he's getting his own show.
I think they understand that. They're like, man, we should have made, because he was awesome. I was a huge fan of Diego Luna
Yes.
in Rogue One, and so that's, if anything, that's the goodwill going into the Andor show for me. I know Gillian Anderson's also in it. I think she plays a politician in the TV show. So I'm
excited for it.
I am hesitantly excited after
Are
Kenobi.
you hesitant? Okay,
I'm
because
not.
of after
Yeah,
Kenobi.
I'm not hyped for it. Maybe I'll watch. Well, okay, we'll probably be covering it, so I will be watching
Yes.
it. But if it wasn't for that, I don't know if I would be marketing it on my calendar to watch.
Understandable.
Skeleton Crew is the other thing that I know of off the top of my head. There's
Um,
Ahsoka. I saw her on the Vanity Fair cover.
Yeah. So Andor's next,
Oh,
and
wow.
then it's Mandalorian season 3.
Is that both this year?
I think Mandalorian season 3 is early next year.
Oh, okay.
And then Ahsoka. Is Rogue Squadron a movie?
Oh my God, that is a movie.
Okay.
Patty Jenkins is doing it, right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be a tough one, because if you told me after the first Wonder Woman movie that Patty Jenkins was doing a Star Wars movie, I would say, hell yes, she is. I like the first Wonder Woman. After seeing Wonder Woman 2, I'm like, oh no, because I do
Hey,
not.
WB producers.
No. We'll talk about that later. That's going to be a great podcast. But no, like, I just don't know what to expect from her, because right now she is batting 500 for me in a bad
Okay,
way,
but,
because I really like the first Wonder Woman. The second one I was personally insulted by.
I don't think that was her fault.
I hope not. So I'm hoping Rogue Squadron is going to be great. Maybe it's going to be like a Top Gun in space.
Yeah.
Hopefully the original Top Gun, not the sequel. We'll talk about that movie as well in the future, because
But
I got words about that movie.
this list I'm looking at. So Ahsoka, Rogue Squadron. This is stuff that's confirmed. That's coming out. There's an untitled Star Wars project by Kevin Feige.
Oh no! No! This is like Seinfeld when George is like, "You can't collide the worlds. Keep the worlds separate. Don't do that. Don't bring Marvel into this. We don't need Marvelized Star Wars."
Yeah.
Oh no!
And then it also just says new Star Wars trilogies. So I think
that's
Ryan
great.
Johnson's trilogy.
Oh my
is still,
gosh!
I don't know.
I love how vague that is. It's just strange. It's a strange time for Star Wars, in my opinion.
I want to talk about this another time. Maybe this will be a little tease, but I think the enchantment of Disney projects kind of gone.
It's gone.
I think it's gone.
The magic is no more.
The magic's no more, and
The
all
magic-
it is corporate greed.
Oh, isn't that the time we're living in right now? The magic has left the kingdom.
Yes.
Isn't that wow? Wait, should we end it on a downer like that right there?
No, but
But I mean, yeah, I mean, everything kind of just seems strange. I don't know where Star Wars is going. It feels like I always found it strange that they're always kind of going in the same 60-year timeline. They're not really expanding.
they have a gold mine.
Old Republic, are we
an
talking?
Old Republic
Oh
stuff,
my
which is
God.
what the Game of Thrones dudes were supposed to do.
Oh.
Their trilogy was supposed to be about, I think.
We need the Old Republic, man. That's what
The
we want.
Gold mine.
I don't know why they're not doing it.
Because it's the safe bet, too. Because the only people you would really piss off if you do it wrong is the nerds.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
what?
casual fans will just be like, "Oh, this is new," and it's not touching any important. They won't ruin Luke
Oh yeah, no,
like
you
the
can't.
sequel trilogy did.
Because this is
Like,
all
you don't
pre-Skywalker.
yeah, you don't touch any characters that are in the
There are no beloved characters.
that you can.
What, Yoda? Yoda's like the only one, right?
I don't.
I don't even know if Yoda's in the Old Republic.
Yeah.
Do an Old Republic. Just do Old
it.
Republic.
Because again, the only people you will piss off is the ultra nerds.
And well, if you're looking at Star Wars also, like that's the only place that has green pastures right now. Because after going into the future with the sequel trilogy, like what the heck is the future in Star
Why
Wars?
it didn't work.
What?
It's why the sequel trilogy didn't work, because hey, guess what? There's this new, bigger and better empire, even though you just took out the empire. Why is there a new empire?
Well, it's just I don't understand, because even after Rise of Skywalker, how that ends, I'm like, I don't know if you set up for any more stories telling after Rise of Skywalker.
No.
Like I don't know. So really, the only like green fields
Is
of
way
Star Wars
before.
is before
Way
Phantom Menace.
before. Way.
So that's what
way
I think they should do.
It is kind of cool though. Wait, I forgot the Tales of the Jedi show.
Wait, what? What's the Tales? Wait, is that the animated one?
series. Yeah,
Oh, wait,
with like
different
younger
styles, right?
Dooku.
Oh, whoa,
No,
whoa,
it's
whoa, 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 whoa!
It's not
I did
different.
not.
It's like in the Clone Wars style. Like 3 episodes are going to be about young Ahsoka, and then 3 episodes are going to be about young Count Dooku, and like Qui-Gon's in it.
Where'd you get? You have an insider at Disney? I've never heard about this until
It was
now.
at Star Wars Celebration.
Oh well, I didn't see
Oh,
that
dude.
highlight.
I'm excited for that. I forgot about
I
that
did- well,
until
I'll
we
look
started
into
talking
it.
about prequel stuff.
Well, I'll look into it. Young Dooku,
Young Dooku.
and who Dooku?
He's got a blue lightsaber.
Oh wow, okay. I wouldn't peg him for a blue lightsaber. And he was trained by Yoda, right?
Yeah.
And then
It went like-
his apprentice was Qui-Gon, if I'm
Yep.
not mistaken. Okay, that might be an interesting show. Let's do that.
Yeah, because that's how Obi-Wan's like so close with Yoda. I
Animated?
mean, on top of being.
Animated though?
Yeah,
I
like
won't
the
watch
Clone
it.
Wars.
Never mind. I won't watch it.
You
I'm kidding.
will
I'll watch
watch
it.
You might not get the first 3 episodes because it's Ahsoka, but you should watch Clone Wars since Ahsoka's coming out.
It's a commitment.
Hey,
man.
you're committing to YouTube now. You got to commit.
Well, once becomes self-sufficient, then I will commit myself fully. So that's up to you, viewers at home.
So yeah,
So that's our
Kenobi.
final thoughts about Kenobi. It happened. It was a show.
great moments in it.
If you want to trudge through 6 episodes, maybe just watch a highlight reel on YouTube.
No, you
I'm
can
joking.
watch it one
watch
time.
it. You can go
You
through
can
it
get
once.
through it once.
It's 6
It's not
episodes.
unbearable to sit through and watch.
Yeah, all of them are less than technically 50 minutes. I mean, you
Yeah.
can get through them pretty quickly. Are they
Should have been a
enjoyable?
movie.
Up to you. It should have been a movie.
Should have been a movie. That's how we should end it. Should have been a movie.
Should have been a movie.
Should have.
Yep. What else? What are you gonna do? So that was our episode on Kenobi, episode 6, and our kind of thoughts on the entire series,
Yeah.
as well as thoughts on Star Wars in general, sprinkled in there.
future.
Yep. So hopefully you enjoyed.
Thanks for listening.
Comment, like, and subscribe. Jacob's staring into my soul when I say that, so I hope that you do. So I don't feel a fool. Don't make me feel a fool, people. All right. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.